Now, the first episode that we did, we weren't actually going to start a podcast. So the whole idea was just to bring together like the founding members of Linkar and some early adopters of what we're trying to achieve. And you had Andy, Nom and everyone. And really we were just going to use it for some social content, like getting a few good ideas flowing, that present like different opinions on human connection, socialising and things like that. But I think after we did the first episode, it just turned out so good that those kind of conversations, I felt like we've got to do them at least once a month. Don't worry about sort of blowing it up or growing it, but at this stage, kind of just doing it, have fun with it, share ideas, get different viewpoints on certain topics, and we can sort of expand on this as we go along. So for the second episode, we'll get into everyone's ideas. Mainly, we'll focus kind of around social media, self-development, and really how that's going to affect people connecting in real life and the challenges that we have with that as well. So Hamza, we'll start off with you.
Right, go on.
So you've been around the block, you know, obviously with the boxing side of things, also trying to build a bit of an online presence. Yeah. I'd probably say, like, with all the people that are here, Amelia's obviously smashing it with the online presence type of thing. Aiden's also, the content's looking fabulous.
Thank you.
So from your point of view, someone who's starting out, give us a bit of an idea on what you're trying to achieve with it and how that's going to tie into what you believe in, your ethos, and kind of your, I suppose, your intention with it.
For my growth in social media, so the growth will come naturally. I'm not even focused on pushing an agenda. Right now, it's just literally just like showing my holidays. Like this, whenever I go on holiday, I just post that. And at the minute, like we've been focused on just that. Like talking with you and Farhan as well, like we've kind of had a vision of actually using it for a positive and making it a financially freedom by just travel and putting travel content out there. So, like I was talking to Farhan the other day, in August I'm planning on just leaving the country and traveling for a year and just focusing on just having a great time, meeting new people, new cultures, going to different countries, visiting mosques, churches, just get to know the people from each side of the world. Yeah. The food, how they treat people, how their culture works. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So from that, really, I kind of get the sense that you're not really using social media as a tool, but it's just documenting your real life journey.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you're meeting people, when you're having that experience,
having that for people to like take as a guide as well. Do you know, like, so that they know how to go. If they go to this place, like they can go to this place and the people will be great, and giving a real life view of what the countries are like and places are like. Do you know what I mean? And especially as a South Asian as well, like to see how they interact with a different minority. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
in different countries.
I suppose moving on from there to Amelia, like completely different end of the spectrum, someone who's been on social media for quite some time. I mean, I don't know too much about your history with it and how things have developed, but do you want to give us a bit of an insight into obviously what motivates you with the content, what your long-term goals on that are?
Yeah, so my social media story isn't actually like your typical influencer. Like, I actually had a social media platform and I had quite a few followers just because I did so many activities when I was younger, but I never actually posted on it. Like, I was never the face of my social media. It was like pictures of my cat or pictures of what I got for Christmas. And then I had really bad body dysmorphia, and I had a cognitive behavioural therapist, and she basically said, you need to start taking pictures of yourself to leave the house, essentially. So my homework was basically take a selfie, which was a hell of a task, let me tell you, when you're suffering from that. And then eventually when I did that, she was like, post it online. I posted that picture online, and bear in mind, none of these followers had ever seen a picture of me. So it kind of like blew up a little bit because they're obviously, oh my God, there's actually a face to this account. Like, what the hell? So that kind of blew up a bit and got quite a few likes. And this was like maybe 2018, 2019. And then from there, my homework was I had to do that every week. And then back in the day, Instagram's algorithm was a little bit different. So now it's like it wants you to post every day. But back in the day, once a week was like the equivalent of, once a day. So I ended up posting once a week these selfies of me. I then got approached by a clothing brand and they were like, can we send you a top? And I was like, well, I've got to take these hellish pictures anyway. I may as well get a little, free top for it. They then reposted that picture and it grew from there. But essentially, I never went into it thinking I want to be an influencer. I never went in thinking, oh my God, I want to take pictures of myself, because that was actually my worst fear. And we were kind of saying in the car, weren't we, about like faking it until you make it. Yeah. My confidence that I have now, where I can walk into a room of people and say hi, it was never like that. It was faked. I was, you know, shaking like this, but I'd pretend that I had that confidence. And it was very much the same with social media. I'd post this picture, I'd hate it, I wouldn't want to post it, but I had to get myself over that hurdle that I was dealing with. So I think really the growth then just came from networking, doing stuff like this, you know, and you've got to have that confidence to be like, what is your socials? Can I get it? Because if you go to a networking event and stand there and don't go over and speak to people, well, what's the point in going?
Exactly.
You got to go. You got to be like, okay, I'm going. And if they don't follow you back, you can unfollow them. Whatever. You're not a fan. But the majority of people, if they're at those events, will follow you back, and that's how you build it. But yeah, I mean, engagement is everything on social media, and if you don't have that engagement and that support, then brands aren't going to work with you, which is what I've found. I find that, unfortunately, I have quite a lot of males viewing my profile, and I don't feel I have much support from women, which is a shame, actually, because I do think I'd like to think I'm quite relatable to females, but yeah. It's how it works.
That's super interesting. So you've initially started the concept off from a point of view of trying to, grow the confidence side of things? So you said you didn't want to post it. So was it a mechanism of putting yourself out there to get acceptance, maybe?
Not even. I was literally, it was almost like I had a homework, and you know, I felt my mum and dad are paying this woman privately to get me out of this deep depression. I just need to do exactly what she says. And at the time I was like, this is ridiculous. How is me posting a photo online? And I think as well it was bad because then you kind of like get invalidated by likes and, you know, your comments, and if you don't get enough likes or comments, or, you know, the people that you wanted to view it weren't viewing it, then you're thinking, oh, it's not good enough or whatever. But it did, in a way, you know, if I look back, if I hadn't started posting on social media and taking those pictures of myself and giving this false you know, perception of me, would I still be little Amelia that didn't leave a house and, you know, had to hold my mum's hand to go everywhere, or would I be here now? So I do think it obviously helped, but I probably wouldn't necessarily give that advice to someone if they were struggling with body dysmorphia now in this day and age. Yeah.
I mean, it is crazy because a lot of people might look at that the other way around and saying, oh, if you just involve yourself online and just on social media, then that can cause other problems where you could get isolated or create this sort of persona online, which is completely different to who you are in real life. So I suppose that the next question would be then, has it made you feel more isolated having all this attention online in terms of who you are as an authentic real person? Like when you meet people in real life, do they just look at that online face of it and say that is you? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, you've got it in one there. So like I say, because I never was that type of personality, that I am a loser, right? I'll put it out there. I like to go to museums, you know, I like to think I'm quite down to earth. I was in the school play, like I was never that cool person. I was never popular, like I was never that type of girl, you know. I'd go to school with my pigtails in. That was that. I got bullied, you know. I was never that sort of person like the Kardashians that everyone would look up to. But the pictures that I post online now give off that impression. And the biggest thing that I ever get is, oh my God, you're so different in person to how you are in your pictures. Like, I thought you'd be a bitch in real life. You actually put a bit of banter to you.
You're a sound person.
Yeah, you're actually all right. And I'm like, I don't know if I should be offended by that, or like, it's a nice compliment. And I say this to everyone. I say, I almost wish that I could delete my social media, because the person that I am is the person that I am today, that we've all met, and that, you know, that I want, that is me. The person on social media that is this, hey guys, it's not me. But at the same time, I'm kind of...
change there as well.
Yeah, it does. It's like my phone voice. It's like I'm torn, because I'm like, do I pursue it and, you know, continue maybe in the hopes that one day a video is going to pop off and I could do it as a full-time job and have that financial freedom like you've said. I think would be stupid to think that everyone wants to be an influencer, you know, get paid to get sent clothes. Like, who wouldn't want to do that, you know?
Get paid to do nothing.
Yeah, essentially, you know, so I'd be stupid to say that I want to delete my social media, because I've always got that little hope maybe one day it'll happen. But then also I'm in this place where I'm not getting paid to do social media. I'm working full time, and I've also got people, maybe I'm not attracting the right men to me, because the ones, you know, that think I'm a different person are not coming. And is that affecting my relationships, my friendships? I don't know.
Interesting. Well, moving from there, Aiden, you're kind of in this middle ground where you've created some excellent content and you're building up your page. And it's great that you're blending spirituality with sort of motivation and all these different elements to it. So it'd be really interesting to understand what your motivations are with growing social media. And do you see it as that risk element there of just being online? Talk to us more about that.
I think like authenticity is the main point for me. It's like, who do I want to be personed as? Who do I want to be? Do I want to be someone that whenever people come up and see me, I'm a completely different person? Or do I want to be the person that they always see online? And I had to make that decision, and I was I want to go for authenticity. At first, I was talking about things I didn't even really care about, like neuroscience. I started learning neuroscience because that's what the craze was. I thought people wanted to learn about that, but they actually didn't. They want to know who you are. They want to know what you do. That's what it's all about, social media. So whenever I first started taking, not a risk, I would say, in social media, but blending what I actually care about, which is God. I care so deeply about God, and I was afraid to post anything about God because I thought it'd be too much. It'd be too much for people, because today, no one really talks about religion. No one's really as faithful as they say they are. You know, people say that they go to church and they go to mass and they always pray, but then behind closed doors, they're doing sinful things.
Yeah.
And we're all sinful. We all sin. That's why we're on this planet. But are you rectifying the situation that you made? Are you rectifying the sin that you done? And that's what I wanted to make people clear on, and show people that, you know, you can actually change as a person if you follow the Bible. If you follow any religious text, it's not just a religious text, it's a guide to life.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to try and teach people. You know, look after your body, look after your mind, praise God, look after your family, follow the 10 Commandments, or whatever it is in your religion, follow it. Because if it's worked thousands of years ago, it's going to work now. And if you read any religious text, especially the Bible, I remember reading the Bible for the first time, and I got on maybe 5 pages, and I was like, why is this my life right now?
Yeah.
And it was wrote 2,000 years ago.
Interesting. So I suppose from that as well then, if you're just going online, obviously, to get the reach, is that kind of the key sort of view that you have, is that you want to reach the most amount of people to kind of connect with them, to show them that there's this other life that they can potentially have. And that other life, I suppose, is that a real life outside of social media, or does that promote people to use online platforms as well? What's your stance on using social media or coming offline? Which one would you prefer?
Listen, everyone feels alone. Even in a world now where you can literally message anyone across the world in a matter of seconds, but everyone feels alone. I want to be able to, my content, I want to be able to show people that, you know, you can change your life. You can actually become the person you dreamed about becoming. That's what I think social media should be about, is helping change people and becoming, because people nowadays are too afraid to walk out the door, never mind talk to someone.
Yeah.
You know,
It's crazy.
it is. It's crazy. Like, they're afraid to walk out the door. But I always say, anxiety comes from the things you know you should be doing but aren't doing.
Yeah.
It always comes from that. So if you're afraid to go outside, it's because you know you should be going outside and connecting with people, but you're not doing it. So then you don't even want to step outside the door. But you're seeing people online that are going here. We talked about in the car, they're going on holidays, they're buying a car, they're buying a watch, they have a girlfriend, they have a wife, they have children, whatever it is. And you're getting upset and you're getting jealous because you're not there yet.
Yeah.
So if you just turn the phone off,
Yeah.
step outside and realize that your life is actually amazing. Like, the chances of us being here is so slim. The chances of everyone being alive is 1 in 400 trillion.
Yeah.
1 in 400 trillion.
It's wild.
You understand? Like, we're all put on this planet for a reason.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that. So you have to go out there and you have to find what your talent is. But you're not going to find it on social media. If it is doing social media, you still have to get outside.
Yeah.
You still have to connect with people.
So then, is there a bit of not a sort of misalignment, but at the same time, because you're obviously pursuing the social media, but your focus is also to get people back out there, how do you balance the two? Is there this kind of, like you were saying earlier on, Amelia, about being an influencer is this next level life, but then at the same time, if you just did that, then I think everyone would say that, oh, you're just isolated and you're just depressed, maybe.
Just for the camera.
How do you balance them?
It's hard to balance them, like, because you're always trying to impress other people rather than trying to impress yourself. You know, and it's always like, what will people think about me? It's never about what do I think of myself. So balancing the two, it can become difficult because it's social media. There's millions upon millions of videos going out every single day, and you're trying to be the one that shines through. So it's hard to shine through whenever you feel like your content isn't good enough.
That's a tough one, you know, because do you know when you're making content and you're kind of in this isolated zone because you're not really getting feedback other than what people are engaging with you, and to some extent I feel like that can be a bit skewed. You're probably the best person to kind of have a view on this, but when you're putting out content, let's say you have this like intention of what you're trying to achieve with it, do you have to align yourself with kind of, this is what's working, so I have to force myself to do that, or do you just put out authentic stuff, kind of like what Aiden was saying?
Yeah, so I've got two Instagrams. My main one, which was the original, which is more just pictures and just very not me. And then the other one was more of my fitness one. And I was kind of, you know, listening to mentors and seeing what they were saying. And they were saying you need to do, you know, snappy videos with a hook, get people's attention. And I'm not like that, as you can probably tell for the past 10 minutes. I can chat for England. My personality, I've got a lot to say.
Yeah.
And I think what makes me is sometimes my little quirky remarks or, you know, something. That's what people be like, oh, that's what I like about Amelia. But I was cutting those out because it was making the video longer than 60 seconds or whatever. And so it would be like a 2-minute video of, you know, me laughing, personality, whatever, saying my opinions. I'd chop it down to 30 seconds and it'd be the most boring thing I'd ever seen. But I'd be like, well, that's what I need to do to get this hook. And then I'd start scripting it. And then I'd put this script into ChatGPT and it would take away every single thing that was my personality. Yeah. And these videos that I was putting out, oh my God, I did some film professionally. They're not me at all. It's awful, the most boring things ever. And people are like, oh, these are so good. And I was like, yeah, but it's not me. Whereas in the ones that I'm more chatty, talky, they don't do as well, which is true because they're longer and I'm waffling and people are probably like, oh God, shut up. But it's me. So I think it's impossible, you know, unless you are someone like a Kardashian that already has that platform, you've got to stick to kind of what the algorithm wants. But then for me, I can't do that, and that's why I've kind of dropped off and given up with it, because I can't change myself and be this person that I'm not. So it's, yeah, I don't know what you think on that, but
I think, like, honestly, like, authenticity is the main thing. I feel like if you can be yourself, like, you always hear about social media influencers or even someone that, like YouTubers, they always burn out after a while because they're being someone they're not. You know, if you be yourself, then you're going to be consistent with it. You know, you're not trying to be this person. You're not trying to be a character. You know what I mean? It's like everyone will get tired of it at some point. And it's like, when is your breaking point? Is it in a few months? Is it a few years? Is it a decade, 2 decades? What is it? You know, so if you're being authentic with who you are, then I feel like you're going to be more consistent with it because you know what you like. People suffer from the same problems that you're facing too as well today. Yeah. There's no new problems really coming up. It's all the same issues. So if you can relate to anyone that's going through the same problems as you, then you just become, I don't know, watchable.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting point, and I think taking it off social media and being authentic in real life scenarios as well, which is what I think everyone aims to be. I suppose a question for you then, Hamza, would be then, instead of focusing predominantly on social media, how does self-development look like in the 21st century without social media? Is that even a thing? Like, because you've done a lot of training, like, performance-wise.
Like, I was going to say on his point before as well, like, everyone's become aging a lot quicker. Like, they're maxing out a lot sooner, chasing these trends and so forth. And they're getting wiser later on. It's like, when you've done all of that, you've maxed out on all these trends and copying people, trying to chase this, like, algorithm, whatever's going on. And you kind of max out, you're like, I've done everything. But then you start to look at life and you're like, wait, it's not even about that anymore. Like, you get wiser later on and you understand that life's about actually just talking to people and being yourself, and not chasing these trends and TikTok dances or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? Doing a little boogie for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
There's no point. Like, just be yourself. And what you were saying, like, when you are yourself, you can be yourself for a lot longer because you're not faking to be someone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And on that point that you just said there, like, in this day and age, I feel like everyone is chasing a trend, and they're all showing people the best bits of their life, even if it's not even their life. Like, when I've been out and about, like, I've got a nice car, I'm driving it around. Or can I take a picture of it? They'll take a picture and post it on their story. Like, what's the point for that? Do you know what I mean? It's like, who are you trying to impress? Like, what, you around a nice car? What's going on? Do you know what I mean? And I think that is this generation. Everyone wants to show nice things and not what's real. And it's quite sad that people can't just connect on a real level. Like, they can't be emotional, or they can't show what's truly them. Or I drive a Ford Fiesta, or do you know what I mean, like, I'm in a normal house, I'm not in a mansion, or I'm not in a skyline view apartment. It doesn't matter. Just be yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, have a real connection, and you'll actually meet a lot more people like-minded that are wanting to chase that life, and you'll get there a lot sooner as well by actually having the right, mental capacity to just focus on the right things and not chase trends.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that people act different online.
Yeah.
So something that I've felt over the last couple of years is, I mean, especially stuff like Reddit, where there's no accountability for what anyone's saying, and people will just come out with the most crazy stuff, and people will also not reply or respond to something that you've said. Like, in real life, if I was to ask you a question, you just aired me and walked away, I'd be like, oh, this guy's crazy.
What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
But it's become normal online, and I feel like a lot of the problems that we have in society, like a lot of the big problems and like the sinister issues that we have, that's all in hate forums online, places where people have no accountability, and they're just trying to promote ideas with no sense of, like, I don't know, they have again no accountability on it. So, I mean, do you feel like that, Amelia, on your social media? Do you think there's a sense of people doing what they want? Or, I mean, what's your view on that?
Yeah, when just going back to what you were saying about like the faking stuff, I think, and also what you were saying, like, even now, and I've done it for so many years now. I'm over it. I'm so over it. Everyone else is like TikTok this and that, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so over it. But like, I even now would not pick up my phone, and if I had no makeup on, I hadn't brushed my hair, put a video on my main Instagram story, because I wouldn't feel confident enough. We were saying there's two of me. There's homeless Amelia that is 99% of the time me, and then there's glammed up, 1% that I never look like this normally. I look like a bald egg. So, that, I think that's definitely, that people aren't seeing the real me, and I'm almost scared to show them that until I get to know them personally. But again, what you were saying about, like, me and my friend were having a conversation, and she'd fell out with one of her friends, and this friend had ignored her online, and she'd gone up to her in real life and approached her and been like, why are you ignoring me? And then she couldn't, they had to have a conversation, and now they've sorted it. And it's like, well, if she hadn't been in the same area or whatever, like, I think online's great, for networking and stuff like that, if you do live in a different country or you are far away. But it is also, like, it's so true that you wouldn't just ignore someone in the street, or, Do
you know what, like, just the other day, actually 2 days ago, I was serving a customer, and they were an elderly couple, Christian, and they were like saying, we never sleep on an argument, we always talk it out. And they were saying, like, how they've taught those values to the daughter, and she's against social media because people, like, ghost each other. You can have a great conversation, the next day they're nowhere to be seen. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's become so normal to just, like, ignore people and on to the next one. It's like a turnover.
Doesn't feel
it's like
human.
A return on investment is gone completely. Like, you've invested so much time and it's all gone. Do you know what I mean? In a moment, and social media has become more like that. And in real life, you can't do that. If you actually go out in real life, you can speak to someone, get the vibe, understand who they are.
Yeah.
And
do you know what's scary as well now is the fact that, like, AI and chatbots and things like that can replicate what a human would respond like online.
Yeah.
So someone who you're speaking to online, it could more than likely be an AI.
Yeah, imagine speaking to robots.
No, because there's some crazy statistic, like, all these famous celebrities, like, most of their followers are bots just to create engagement and things like that. And it's all kind of a bit of a smoke and mirrors type of situation. So it's like, now that we're moving into the AI age,
Yeah.
even more with videos, content, even replicating like real people. Like I saw one with like Putin and Trump, and they were
Yeah.
like having a dance and stuff. So it's like that could even be used in a negative way, where scenarios could be playing out and you don't know if it's real or not. So I think now more than ever, it's so important to have that natural sense of connection. And personally, I think as well, it's crazy that human beings aren't really designed to have 1,000 or 10,000 connections that you can be on like a human level with, because at the end of the day, your brain can't really handle that genuine level of attention that you need to give to someone. But at the same time, you need that as a human to connect and
crave it.
talk. Exactly, but there's
Yeah.
only a finite amount of time that you can actually like do that
Yeah,
in. Do you know what I
100%, yeah.
mean? I guess the next question would be then, with you, Amelia, how do you keep your self worth separate from all the likes, and you get a lot of attention online, and then the person who you are in real life that you talk to other people, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, self-worth, I mean, definitely when I first started and when I was younger, the likes would really affect me. You know, I really, really was very upset if I didn't get enough views or likes. Now, like I say, I think, I'll be real with you, I've had a hellish last few years, and I think you realise, you know, grief, you know, real life problems are a lot bigger than likes on social media. And I think it just puts it into perspective. You know, why am I sat there stressing that this picture has only got 10 likes when, you know, there's people that are dying? I just think and maybe that's a maturity thing as well, you know, as you get older, because I think people that are a lot older don't necessarily care too much. But also I just think I've had those years of stressing about it, and if I was going to continue to stress about it, I'd be miserable. And you kind of have to, I had to get to a point where I was like, I cannot focus on this. Like, if I get a few likes and it pops off, fine, but because I had to step away from it being my full-time job. And when you step away from that, it takes the pressure off it. But if you're trying to pursue social media as a full-time job, that is when you're like, oh my God, I have to get that likes, because almost it's like, well, you're not going to get paid if you don't get those likes. So if you take the pressure off it, then I think that's how I kind of dealt with that. But yeah, like I say, it does upset me. It really upsets me when I see girls post the same content as me, and, you know, 15 other girls comment, oh my God, you look amazing. And then I'll have, you know, Paul and Steve, who are 50 plus, saying how great I look, and not a single girl. And it does upset me, but you know, I have to put things into the bigger picture. I've got, you know, I've cared for family members. I've got a lot more going on in my life that is way more important than, you know,
Paul and Steve,
yeah, yeah. You know,
Yeah,
you
that
really
was
have to
funny.
disconnect, because you know, fortunately, hopefully a lot of people haven't had to deal with a lot of shit, but if you have, it really puts it into perspective. And I think
Yeah.
that's why my attitude has very much changed to, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good way to present, obviously, with the online thing, but also yourself online. I guess, are you doing a lot more stuff in person now then? Are you changing that energy to real stuff? What would you do now instead of focusing on the socials?
Yeah, I mean, I still do socials, don't get me wrong, like I still post, but I've been quite open on my fitness page about like the conditions that I suffer with. I would never I was very embarrassed when I was younger about saying I had depression and anxiety. I would hid that from the world. Now I'm quite open about it, and I'll speak about it. And I just think, yeah, if you're a man and you can't deal with that, you're not the man for me. You know, if you're a girl and you don't want to deal with that as a friend, you're not the person. So I think I'm definitely a lot more real, opening up about certain things, and I just kind of post more when I want to now and when I have the time, rather than having this pressure of having to post every day and getting stuff out that I don't believe in. So yeah, I think I now will, any opportunity I get, I will take. So I'll take it. You know, the fitness circle that we did. Any opportunity in person I'll take, because I just think I'll get home tonight and I'll feel so much better having been out with humans and talked than if I was to be sat on my phone on a Sunday all day, just scrolling through socials, just looking at people with their Lamborghinis.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Yeah. You know.
Now that's what we're all about, is trying to create spaces and communities for people to come together. I mean, Aiden, you speak a lot about purpose, and having that purpose is so important. But does chasing the numbers online, does that blur the sense of purpose, or do you use it to an advantage?
No, 100%. 100% it blurs it. Like, because you'll start off with a why, and then you'll see likes, and then whenever you don't get the amount of likes that you thought you were going to get in that video, then you start forgetting about what your why was and what your purpose was in the first place. And then you start being all like, oh, is my content even good enough? Am I doing the right thing? And that's whenever you start to switch up things. So with me, it's to help people get in the best physical shape that they possibly can, get them out of any bad mental space that they're going through at that moment. And then if I start to go towards, I don't know, start doing funny, entertaining content, then I've lost my purpose, I've lost my why. So you always have to remember why you first started doing it, because that there's your main driving factor in anything. It's like, why did you do it? Are you there to help people in the similar situations that you're in? Or are you there to just take their mind away from what they're going through? Yeah. And that's what I see more. Don't get me wrong, entertainment content is there. It's good to have that too as well. It's good to have a laugh. But I feel like social media should be more on bettering yourself, connecting with that person that you're watching on the screen. You know, because like I said, I said it before, fakeness is everywhere. You know, being authentic isn't. So whenever you find someone that's being authentic and being their true self, then you can relate to that person a lot more.
How do you know if someone's being authentic? Like, let's say if I didn't know you as a person, like if I was to see your content, is there a way of kind of differentiating, like this guy's just putting an act on, or this is who that person is?
It's probably by the stories, because that's the only way you're going to ever get to able to know someone. It's the stories that they tell. Like I was watching a video and it was some boy and he said, like, I've always wanted to be disciplined. I know I can do all this, but anytime I opened up a book, I would never ever read any pages. They would always just be stacking up on my shelf, collecting dust. He said, but the one thing that got me to actually pick up that book and start that business and do everything that I said I was going to do was imagining myself in 30 years' time, not being able to walk because I didn't look after my health, being angry at my life because I didn't do the things I was going to say I was going to do. And I was all like, that is me. I was there at that point, at one point. I can relate to this man. And that's how you find if someone's being authentic or if they're being fake. It's because they're tying into an emotion that you've went through or you're going through at that moment. That's how you know someone's being real. If someone's being fake, they're talking about something that you might not even know what it is. And they're just coming up with all these words that go straight over the top of your head. I always say, you're not an expert in something unless you can explain it to a 10-year-old. Yeah. You have to be able to explain something to a 10-year-old for everyone else to be able to understand it. Yeah. I suppose, because in real life, it's easy to kind of appreciate someone, like, are they being authentic? To some level, it's a lot easier than online. So it's great points that you said there in trying to decipher that. And it's like a minefield as well. So you want to try and, because I think there's certain characters online that, yeah, it might be a persona or not, but it's so difficult to try and get through those weeds there. So, I mean, moving on from that, Hamza, then, so with leveling up, like, that's something that I see you doing quite a lot, like trying to better yourself all the time. Do you prefer doing that privately or online?
Privately, 100%.
Yeah, talk us through that.
So I think you've got to be able to know yourself completely to improve yourself. Do you know what I mean? When you start showing yourself outside, you start struggling to actually improve yourself because you're trying to show other people what you're trying to achieve. I'm a big believer on, like, do it first, then show it. Do you know what I mean? Like, whatever your goals are, whatever you're trying to improve on, you've got to understand why you want to do it and what's the purposes behind it. And if you just straight away showing people on social media how you can understand it yourself, you're kind of like showing the world what you're trying to do and then trying to get their feedback to help you. Whereas if you just focus on it and try to understand yourself first, it's like self-loving yourself before you even do anything in life. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Understanding yourself, your mind, your body, and that's the only way that you can level up. And then once you've achieved that happiness within yourself, by all means, show it online, social media, if that is for you. For me personally, I don't really like doing that social media posting so much. Like, the only time I literally post is when I'm on holiday. And I'm a completely different person when I'm on holiday. So that's why I think me getting away from this country is the best thing ever. Just travel. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I know you nomad. Get a backpack and that's it.
Yeah. I suppose there's some elements that I would agree, but at the same time, I would say that if you share, like, let's say you don't know how to do something, but you're sharing it with others, would that not help you in a way where they're helping you along?
100%, but then I think that's more in real life person, like meeting people in person and having a
Okay, so
conversation.
taking it offline.
Yeah, you don't need to be online to do that. Like
Right.
right now, listening to this brother here
Yeah.
about spirituality and the way you to connect, it's kind of like that's the type of conversations that you really want to have, and you can't have that online really. Like, yeah, I can watch him speak about it in a video, but then it's just swiped away. Do you know what I mean? But then when you're there sitting next to him and like hearing it, you're like, wow, that's kind of deep, and then I can question him about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you bounce off each other. Whereas online, it's literally a swipe away onto the next video. It's like you got a deep, meaningful video there. You swipe, and then you've got a girl doing the TikTok dance. Swipe again, someone's like bashing their head against the wall or something. Do you know?
Your feed is messed up, man.
Do you know, the For You page is just random as fuck.
Your dopamine must be through the roof.
But no, that is what it is, though. Do you know what I mean?
You're 100% right.
Like,
You're 100%
1 minute
right.
you're watching like a religious video, and
Yeah.
then you swipe again, and it's like something.
It's
completely
a
different,
crazy
do you know what I mean?
minefield, isn't it? Of
Like-
just so much random stuff.
And the motivation videos that you see as well. It's like everyone's trying to copy each other. So it's the same message, but in like a different person, different accent.
Yeah, I feel
know
like
what I mean?
once everything just becomes the same thing, it does lose a lot of value. Like you were saying about authenticity.
And that's how I
yeah.
think you find it as well, because then they're saying something different.
Yeah.
And they can see it, do you know how they're explaining it, that it's true. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not like a copy and paste.
I think we've
from
cracked
everyone
it, you
else.
know.
We
So the
cracked it.
whole thing, right? It goes something like this. So you're fully authentic as a person.
Yeah.
So you're putting out what you believe, and that's you. And then that, if it resonates, which it probably will after a certain
Yeah.
amount of time, becomes like you are the trendsetter.
Yeah.
And then everyone just tries to copy you
Big
because you've
trendsetter.
created this level, and then that's literally like how to be an influencer, I suppose.
Have you just cracked it then, I guess?
I think so.
graph
But then
it.
at the same time, if you're being authentic and it doesn't blow up, it doesn't matter, because then you're just like, I'm just putting out content that I like to put out anyway.
Right.
And the people who are interested in this, they're going to see a lot of value in it. And even if you're just helping one person, you've changed their life. There's a universe within one person. That's what I believe. So that in itself is so powerful. Even if it's not like 1,000 or however many people, which, yeah, I think that's interesting to say the least.
I always think that, like, see the word so influencer, it's used wrongly. I feel like influencer, you should be influencing someone to act and do something. You shouldn't just be posting on social media.
You got to be a role model.
You gotta be a role
Yeah.
model. Like,
Well,
you
what
have
is
That's
the
the name
current-
that you should be using.
a role,
yeah.
like, you should be influencing other people to do something, act. Like, what is it that they want to do? Are you influencing someone to
better.
get a guy, go to the gym? Are you influencing to start a business? Like, go out and talk to people? Like, what are you influencing them to do?
So what do influencers now do then?
Just post on social media and expect to get likes and views.
I have to say as well, I think I personally went in with the intention of influencing, and it actually brings you back to the point where if I posted a video, and this is what is just so wrong with social media in today's age, that I could have 2 videos. One of them would be a clothing try on haul, me not speaking, just posing, looking sexy. That will blow up, that will get 10,000 views, loads of comments. I'll post a video, and this is real life, has happened. We'll post a video about me talking about mental health, wanting to help people, or, you know, educating. 1,000 views, no one will comment, no one will support it. And that is why, for me personally, I have to say, you know, back in the day when I was chasing those likes and views, I started off trying to be a little bit more like I did mental health podcast, and I tried to post a lot more quotes about mental health and stuff like that. And it was not getting the traction compared to the photos of me, you know, maybe a little bit more sexy that were. So younger Amelia was like, well, I'm chasing that validation, so I'm gonna post more of what's getting the views. And that is kind of where I lost myself. And I think that is where this whole kind of fake Instagram persona almost came from, because I stopped posting pictures with my friends and my cat and what I got for Christmas, and it just went completely into these fake edited pictures of me, you know, sucking in and getting rid of my dark circles and adding fake tan on, and all of a sudden I've got this, who is this girl online? It's not me. And if you meet me in person, that's still Amelia from down the road in Bury. But this girl online has developed over the years into something that almost I'm not, because I didn't get that validation on my personality. And I think that's what's so sad, that if I post a video of me funny being me, no one likes it, no one comments. But the second I post a video, you know, sticking my tongue out, the men love it.
Yeah.
So I mean that's
Steve and Paul, man.
no,
That's it. They're
I'm
on
telling
to
you,
it.
they're on
They
it.
it's
love
quite
it.
sad when you think about it.
It is,
In a
it's
way,
really sad.
It's almost like you're creating this persona or product that a lot of people are trying to aim towards, and it's that same kind of end product that you're getting at. But again, it takes away from the authenticity from that. So what are you doing then? Because I know there's obviously you've been through a few struggles. So for your mental health, what kind of things do you do now to try and improve that?
The first thing I did was my biggest thing was never posting without makeup. I remember I did a TV show years ago, and the guy said to me, "Can we film you in the morning?" And I point blank, diva central mental breakdown. Do not film me with no makeup on. Now, I force myself again. You put yourself out of your comfort zone, and same with the anxiety. I'd force myself to go to these events on my own, and now I can. But I just said, okay, post with no makeup. So now my fitness page is a lot of me just looking like absolute death. But you know, it's forced me. Now I will go out with no makeup, and I do look homeless 24/7. But I'd never have left the house without doing a full face of makeup and a smoky eye, and you know, so. Yes, now I have the confidence to go to the shop and wear my tracksuit. So it's definitely, for me, that's helped me. But again, would I necessarily post on my main Instagram? I don't know what the difference is between these two Instagrams, because one of them, people can see both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but one of them I'm like, yeah, I'm just not going to brush my hair and I'll post that on there. Same with TikTok. I feel more comfortable posting, you know, a bit more on my personality. But then for some reason, I think maybe because I've got some exciting people, or maybe some boys I fancy on my main one or something, like I'm too scared to post the real me. And that's something, again, that I need to get over. And I'm sure within the next few years, I probably will start being more me on my main one. But that's a battle I have to do with myself as well.
It's interesting, Aiden's point as well, like you being authentic fully on all of your online like presence will probably attract the right people into your life as well, because then they're resonating with who you actually are. So it's a super powerful thing, that authenticity element.
They know you before they meet you.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. It's like,
There's no
But they don't know you. That's the thing.
Well, they don't. I know what you mean. They don't know you, but it's like if they meet you in real life and you're this completely different person. But it's like if they meet you in real life and like you're basically the same, they just don't really know you.
It's like you've already known each other for a long time.
Exactly.
You have the conversation, it just flows where it's not like...
it's probably going to flow better than the whole engagement.
Like, wait, hold up, this is a catfish, or this is, what do you call it? This ain't her, like, how am I supposed to talk to the person?
Yeah.
But if you actually have the real stuff there, it's like, yo, what's happening? I've already seen you without makeup.
Yeah.
You were at Hamza the other day, weren't you?
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I mean, talking about the spiritual side again, because I find this super relevant. I think a lot of people in this day and age are looking for something to kind of involve themselves in. So whether you go to a mosque or a church, or you join a run club, or you have this community around you, I think that's a super enlightening thing that can help you as a human being. So for you then, in terms of online and offline, do you feel like you're trying to drive people offline into these communities? Is that the end goal with it?
Not completely offline, but yeah. Like I feel like now people aren't connecting as they were. Like it's just like going back to what I said, because you can just message someone at the click of your fingers in a few seconds. It feels like that's all you need to do, but you don't. Like you need to actually go out and have a face-to-face conversation with someone. You can't tell from the tone of a voice over a text. You know what I mean? No, someone's not looking directly at you in the eyes. There's what builds connection. You need to go out and actually speak to people, engage with them, talk about how they're doing, talk about your day. If you're struggling with anything, talk about it. That's the only way that you're going to be able to get better mentally and physically. Is going out and actually speaking to people. So get it off your phone. I always try and get away from my phone every Sunday. I haven't done it today, but I try to do it every Sunday. Like,
a lot of things are happening.
We're all working on it.
Yeah. But I try to do it every Sunday, right? Just because you need a digital detox. You need to have that mental clarity. And if you're consistently swiping all the time and you're seeing 5 to 6 second videos, that's what your brain's going to crave for the entire day. It's not going to crave social connection. It's not going to every time you're speaking to someone, you're just going to clock off. You're just going to start daydreaming, looking at them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just because something's not changing every 5 seconds. So getting out, and I know exactly, and getting out and just explaining what you're going through.
Do you think we need like detox or rehab for scrolling addicts?
We need to get rid of the phone.
People stop paying people if they can't scroll And then like around the corner, can I scroll your phone? Just like, I need to
Do you know,
scroll.
it's crazy, right? Think about it. Like the kids that are being born now, they're like being born with ChatGPT 5.1 like
Yeah.
as their companion. And when I'm 28, so we grew up from like the whole no internet, like going out playing, knocking on doors and
Knock a
whatnot.
door on.
No, not even.
Kick a
But
ball against the curb.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I did.
Kirby.
Playing with my
Wally.
Barbies, you know.
Yeah.
That's it.
no, but after that, then we
It's
went
like-
on to like the phones, like when I was like 14, 15,
Yeah.
then getting onto the internet with the phones, like that came after. But then we've gone through this phase of kind of understanding how this transformation works, and still we're fully involved, like, oh my God, like I'm addicted type of
Yeah.
thing. But then think about the kids now. Like, you will have an iPad with ChatGPT on it, you can
Yeah.
ask it anything. Like, will they even want to speak to other human
To be
beings?
fair, even when you look at like your nieces and nephews, they're
Yeah.
just like robots near enough. You know, they have their tablets in front of
Wow.
them. They can ignore them. Like you can shout their name like again and again. They'll just like.
But isn't that
It's
going to
white
cause
noise.
a mental, like, dysfunction?
Imagination.
Yeah.
No imagination. Toys are out the window.
Yeah.
The scenarios I had to think of playing with my Barbies,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I'd recreate. Me and my friends would come round. We'd have these. We'd spend hours knocking. Are you playing out today?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
it's.
It's like kids watch kids play with toys,
Yeah.
and they won't play with their own toys.
It's so
I know
mad.
what-
They'll
it's
just-
like
wait,
that's
like, watch
insane.
That's
hours of, like,
insane.
oh my
Yes.
God, this kid just opened the toy. You've got a toy there, open your
I know
own, do you know what I
what-
mean?
yeah.
But they just want to watch the screen, which is crazy.
But then all this content has been created in a way where it's kind of like, how do we affect the brain in the best way to
Yeah.
kind of gain? And it's all monetary. Like,
Yeah.
if we can keep the attention on this video, then we're going to make more money. And it's
Yeah.
all this kind of dark circle of financial gain, and no one really cares about.
And
It's,
do you know
it's
all of
like
that
crazy.
as well, like, do you know where everyone's looking at other people and you know scrolling like 6 seconds videos, 10-second videos of, like that is all affecting people with real life relationships
Yeah.
and bonding with people, friendships. Because like 1 minute you're just there like thinking like you were saying before, you're talking to somebody like you're like, I'm done with this conversation. You're not even listening to them anymore. Do you know what I mean? And that kind of correlates to being in a relationship as well. Like you're there. Right, well, I could be talking to someone who there might be a better conversation. Do you mean like you're already thinking about next, like you're thinking about the swipe straight away,
Yeah.
and that's why I think now a lot of people are kind of going towards the way of like they can't stay in one place, they can't be committed, and the changeover is crazy.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, after having this conversation, I'm like scared of my phone now. So
Throw it
like,
out the
let's just
window.
get rid of all the phones.
Yeah.
I mean, I deleted all my social medias like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and before that, I was in like that kind of since college, like trying to impress people and posting like the best pictures and shit
Yeah.
like that. And then I went through a phase of like I just want to disconnect from this validation because it's always disappointing you or whatever's going on there, and you don't even really care about everyone else's life to a certain extent. It just becomes overbearing. But again, now starting a business, you've had to come back into it almost like a bit of a forced way, but
Yeah.
it's what's
like
required.
again, in this 21st century, everything is online. You have to be
You
online.
have to be.
Even with Linkar's message of trying
Yeah.
to connect with people, you've got to use the online
It's
basis.
soon online.
You've got to use everything, these viral trends, to get people to understand.
Yeah.
Right, we need to meet up, like bring humans together again, have
Yeah.
that brotherhood, female energy as well.
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
feminine power.
Yeah, you're like, I
didn't
don't
realise-
leave Amelia
I
out.
was like, wait,
I didn't even realise. I was like, yeah.
brotherhood. That's it.
No, absolutely. I mean, now that we've had a bit of a discussion about social media, let's talk about what we can do in real life and
Yeah.
what are the key things that we do as people that really help us in real life. So you tell us, Hamza, then. So what real life moments connect
Yeah.
you more than ever, make you feel empowered, make you feel great?
Like for me, it'd be religious, you know.
Yeah.
Like when I go to the mosque and I'm praying, like
Yeah.
I feel like religiously connected to God. And when I come away from that, I'm open minded to everything. I want to talk to people. I want to express myself. Like it kind of grounds me, you know, as a human. It reminds me I'm a human as well, which is quite weird to say. Like during day to day when you're like working in office jobs or sales job, you're just kind of selling products. You're being a robot in a sense, like doing admin work constantly doing things for other people. But when I'm like going to the mosque and praying, it reminds me that life isn't just about that. It's about you, your relationship with yourself, and relationship with people. Like when you have the conversations with people, like right now, talking to you, I feel connected.
It's a community,
And
isn't it?
you're building like not a family, but like
Yeah.
a community that you can go to whenever you need any type of help or anything like that, or if you want to just talk.
Yeah.
You've built that connection that now I know if I need some advice on, you know, like hiding some black spots, I can go to Amelia, but Amelia, how do I hide this concealer?
Don't come to me for that sort of advice, will you?
No, I mean,
Or how do I get more likes? Do I do a clothing haul? Or
no, I
something?
completely agree with what you're saying. That community aspect, it does make you feel like so
Yeah.
connected, and you feel like you've got an environment that you can
100%,
trust and
yeah.
things like that. I mean, Amelia, then for you, if social media completely disappeared and phones weren't allowed anymore, how would your life change?
I'd love life. I generally say this with open arms. If the only reason I have social media is, like we've just said, because everyone else has it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like when I was younger, my mum and dad never let me have an email address. This was way before social media. Emails, you know, all my friends would come in, year 6, oh, did you get my email? Were you watching this? And I felt left out.
Yeah.
And so the only reason is that FOMO. That is why I have it. And, you know, like you say, because you are a little bit cut off in this day and age if you don't. But I'd love life. I think social media is the worst thing to ever be invented. I think how happy I was when I was younger, like I say, playing with my Barbies, going to brownies, going to these activities, horse riding, doing sports, speaking to family. Like, I was so much happier back then than I am now, having to, you know, okay, granted, maybe family in America that I wouldn't have been able to see, that's good that, you know, but you just ring them on the phone. I know it's still the same sort of thing, but even when it comes to like dating, like boys actually had to come up to you and ask you out. What my mum said, like, boy, you used to have to like write letters and stuff. Now they can, what? Yes, baby, I'm like your pic, like you liking my story. Is that meant that you meant is what? Do you want to take me out or what? No, 'cause I hate it.
It's just that foreplay, liking pictures, what's going on?
Yeah.
You don't know.
I'm on social media, but I really am not an advocate for it. I'm a bit of a hypocrite in a way, because I'll go on social media as soon as we've probably stopped this podcast and text someone, but I really don't like it.
So then, if social media just disappeared completely, what would your life look like then? What would you do? Would you like have certain, like, I suppose, communities that you would go to on a regular basis, or have you even thought about that?
Yeah, I think I would just go back to exactly what we used to do before social media. So obviously a lot of jobs would disappear. So you would have to go back to doing a job that maybe wasn't great. But like I said, I've been an in-person PT. I've done all sorts of other jobs before that. So I would go back to doing a job like that. My friends that I met were from activity groups, and I think now my mum always says to me, she's like, you need to get a hobby. And it's true, because I actually don't have a hobby anymore. Like, yeah, going to the gym, it's not really a hobby. You know, meeting people, that's how you used to meet people. Like, my mum and dad went to a singles group because there was no social media, there was no Hinge or Tinder, so that's how they met. My dad had to literally go up to the receptionist and say, what is that lady's number? And he had to ring her on the landline and arrange a date. and he had to almost, you know, that's how it used to be, and look at how amazing their relationship is. He's never strayed away from that. Whereas, if you look at the amount of times that I've been ghosted through Hinge dates, it's uncountable. So 100%, get rid of social media. I'd go to an animal sanctuary. I'd work in a zoo. Just let me be with like a load of fluffy cats. Get me abroad with all my friends.
It's great to feel that yourself, Hamza, Aiden as well, you all feel this sense of, we don't need social media, we'd rather be reconnected in real life. I mean, that's our mission at Linkar, is getting people back in real life as much as possible. So, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. Now, Aiden, for you then, what does it look like without social media? Talk us through your day-to-day. How would things change?
Nothing would change. I'd still be doing the same thing I'm doing now, except I'd be doing it in person. I'd be preaching the gospel in person. I'd be walking up to people in the street, trying to get them into the church, trying to get them baptized, just telling them the beautiful words of God. That is literally all I love doing. That's literally the only thing I enjoy more than anything in this world, is going up and just actually learning about what happened back then, what his teachings are, what our purpose is in life, and then just helping people physically and mentally, getting out of that, you know, dark place that everyone has been in. Yeah, we've all been there. You know, getting better physically, because people know they go to the gym, they know to eat healthy, but at the same time they don't know how to do it. You know, and all the information is at our fingertips. Well, in this instant, it wouldn't be at our fingertips. I would have to actually go and teach them, like. But I'd be able to help people get into that phase of their life that they know they can get into, but just don't know how to.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's so important to follow your passions and be 100% authentic. An interesting one then. what's something recently that's happened offline, so not on social media, that's super memorable? Like, have you done anything recently that you can share with us?
This is what I was saying before, bro. Like, I feel like I'm a robot. Every day I wake up early morning, yeah, and everything's just the same, like work.
But I suppose at work, do you have the fulfillment because you're doing a job that is in person? Like,
Yeah.
you're obviously helping kids and people that are less privileged, which is a great opportunity to have that face-to-face
But
engagement.
then the thing is, it goes back to what we were saying before. These
Yeah.
kids, they're all online. They don't care. They don't want to engage. So you're there as a role model,
Yeah.
waiting for them to come out and cry out, help me.
Yeah.
But right now, they're all in their phones. They don't really care. I'd say the best thing the most memorable thing that's happened recently is speaking to that lady that was saying that we what do you call it? Never go to sleep on an argument. What do you call it? We always communicate our problems and stuff like that. And that was a really good conversation that we had.
Definitely.
And then she was on about like how her religious beliefs onto her daughter. She keeps her values even to this age with what everyone is like now, doing with Tinder, Hinge and stuff like that. That she doesn't follow that trend. Do you know what I mean? She's kind of held the values that her parents have taught her.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing to do is to hold your values and be stern on them, and don't let other people change them,
Yeah.
or let the social media or the viral trends change you, who you are, just to please other people.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
absolutely. And Amelia, what advice would you give to people who want to get back and do real stuff? What would be some of the key things that you'd say to them?
Literally, like, switch your phone off. Like, I mean, even I'm guilty of it. For example, my to-do list I do on my phone, but I don't need to. I could get a pen and paper and write them down, and then, you know, it's little things that always bring me back to the phone. Like, oh, I need to check my to-do list, and now I'm on my phone again, and I'll just have a quick look through TikTok, and notifications come back. You know, for example, Sunday, I've got my list of chores that I need to do. If it was all written down on paper, I wouldn't actually need to check my phone, because, you know, changing the bedding, you shouldn't be on your phone. So I'd say, like, what you can do off your phone, really try and do that. So if you maybe need, I know, like, it's hard to say, but if maybe you do need, like, to go shopping, write your shopping list on a piece of paper so you don't have to check your phone. Or, you know, maybe you need a new t-shirt. Well, is it one that you could get for work? Could you maybe go into a physical shop and buy it instead of having a look online? You know, if you need to do exercise and you're really struggling, you know, maybe go into your gym and ask one of the PTs in real life, rather than going on ChatGPT and saying, can you do me a workout? Like, think about what you can do yourself without having to. And I'd also say reading. Honestly, like, I really struggle with reading in, like, at home, because my brain is 100 miles an hour. But when I go abroad, for example, and I'm by, you know, the sunbed or whatever, like, I can read. And taking yourself out of, same with a good film, something like that, taking yourself out of the world of social media, out of your own problems. You need to give your brain a rest from everything. If you don't have a rest, you're just going to get more stressed. You're just going to keep scrolling. It's just bad. Even just going on a walk, just get yourself out. If you go on a walk, fine, take your phone for safety, like my mum always says, but turn it off. Have 20 minutes of just a speed walk outside, breathing the fresh air with no phone. And then, you know, I'd say that would be my advice.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're all ordering Nokias.
I think so.
Old school Nokias. Yeah, we'll definitely get that on. But again, guys, it's been a great conversation. I think we've touched on some super amazing, like, important points, and also giving some guidance on how people can get out there and connect. So we've got the first sort of Mark 1 of the app, which is pretty much ready. So we'll get you guys on there. So you can sign up on here now. On the Linkar app, we'll put the link in our bio, and then you can start earning rewards. So the more people that you meet, the more people that you engage with, you build your network, you'll get rewards, and then those rewards you can actually redeem. So whether it's a coffee or croissant, it gets people back in real life. So you guys will be some of the first to check it out.
I love that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Well, thanks again so much, guys.
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's been a great conversation.
It's a great conversation. So we're going to be debating about the gospel.